Ready for another deep dive? This time, we're diving into Nicholas Sparks's Counting Miracles. He's got this way of grabbing you by the
Yeah,
emotions.
he's really good at that.
And this one, let me tell you, it's got it all: love, loss, second chances, uh, you name it. And at the heart of it all, there's Jasper. He lives this quiet life, really connected to nature out in the Uwharrie National Forest.
And you can tell that setting isn't just some random place. The Uwharrie is like a character itself. Jasper's tied to the land in a way that goes way back. It reflects his faith, his family, and some seriously life-changing stuff he's been through.
Right. Right from the start, we're with him in the present, in his cabin. He finds this peacefulness being surrounded by nature. But
Hmm.
then Sparks takes us back to his childhood, right? You start to understand how important his father was in shaping his morals. Their faith was really important too.
Yeah.
And it gets you thinking, how much is all that, like, how we grow up determine how we face the hard times later on?
It's a big question that runs through the whole book, especially with Jasper's grandfather. Here's a guy, he was a gambler, even spent some time behind bars. But then he has this near-death thing, finds faith, and completely changes his life. Makes you wonder, do we all need a wake-up call like that to really appreciate life? To actually make a change?
It's pretty powerful stuff, and it sets the stage for what Jasper goes through. He finds this incredible love with Audrey, the kind most people only dream about.
Yeah,
But then the fire happens. It just tears his family away from him. You feel the weight of that loss, how it breaks him.
absolutely. And it's then, in that darkness, that the Uri becomes even more important to him. It's like the land itself is offering comfort, a place to grieve and, like, slowly rebuild. I feel like Sparks is hinting at something we don't always get. Nature can heal, maybe even more than people can, after something that awful. What do you think?
It's a good point. It makes you see his solitude differently. He's not just hiding, he's pulling strength from something bigger, something that's been around forever. And that resilience, it's like it's part of the Uwari's DNA. And
Um,
just when you think you've got Jasper all figured out, Sparks brings in this whole other character, Tanner.
yeah.
Really shakes things up.
Yeah, Tanner shows up in the Uwharrie looking for, well, he doesn't even know what. He's trying to find his dad, his real dad,
Yeah.
just following these scattered memories.
Right.
It's really interesting how Sparks uses that like it's a parallel to what Jasper's dealing with, his own past.
Mm-hmm.
They're both searching for answers, trying to put the pieces of their lives together.
It's almost like they were meant to find each other,
Yeah.
and the Uwari is the thing connecting them.
Yeah, yeah.
And speaking of connections, what about that white deer?
Oh, the white deer. It's more than just a pretty animal, don't you think?
For sure.
It represents something different to both of them.
Totally. For Jasper, it's almost like a second chance to protect something precious, something he couldn't do with his own kids.
Exactly. Remember how protective he was of Mary, especially with her, her learning challenges? The white deer, it's got that same vulnerability. And for Tanner, well, he's drawn to the mystery of it all. It's like the white deer is the spirit of the Uwharrie pulling him in.
And that pull leads to that really intense scene. Those teenage boys, the Littleton brothers,
Ah, those guys.
they have zero respect for nature.
None. The way they just disregard the rules, how they threaten Arlo, it's infuriating. But for Jasper, it hits a nerve. It brings back all those protective instincts, the ones he felt for Mary. Like,
Yeah.
he sees his own children in the white deer, and he can't let that happen again.
Right.
And then, just as all this is going on, Sparks throws in another twist,
Hmm.
the accident. Tanner, driving Caitlin's daughter Casey, totals his Mustang.
Talk about a life-changing fender bender.
It's more than an accident, though. It's how Sparks ties Tanner's fate even closer to Jasper's. And if that wasn't enough, you see this connection forming between Tanner and Mitch, Caitlin's son.
I know. Mitch is just eating up Tanner's stories.
Right.
And that part where he asks Tanner to teach him how to whittle, so sweet.
It's like they're both craving that father-son thing, each in their own way.
It makes you think maybe these unexpected connections, maybe that's the key to healing some of those old wounds. Because Jasper's carrying a lot of guilt, a lot of pain.
You can say that again. The fire, losing his family, it's always there under the surface.
And then there's that image, that shadowy figure that keeps popping up. It even shows up in the Uwari, almost gets a warning.
Yeah, that shadowy figure is creepy. Makes you realize how fragile things are, how fast they can change.
And things are definitely about to change for Jasper. He's hurt, alone out in the Uwari, and it's getting dark. And those Littleton boys, they're closing in. Scary, right? You're left wondering if he's going to make it out this time.
It really gets your heart racing.
Mm.
And then, just when it seems hopeless, Tanner finds him.
It's like something out of a movie.
It is. And, it's all because of Arlo, his loyalty.
You have to wonder, would Jasper have even survived if Tanner hadn't shown up right then?
It makes you think about how everything's connected, you know? Even the little things can make a huge difference. Like, remember, it was Casey who saw Arlo acting weird, and that's what led Tanner to Jasper.
It's true. It's like this chain reaction, and it all comes back to paying attention, trusting your gut, even when things don't make sense.
Totally. And then there's that part where Tanner decides to stay in Ashboro. Think about it. After all that searching, all those miles, he finds a reason to stop running right here.
It's like he finally found what he's been looking for all along, a place to belong, something bigger than himself to connect with.
And it's not just him who's changing. Caitlin's letting go of the past, too, She's
Yeah.
opening herself up to this guy who's just pure kindness.
It's pretty amazing to see how their lives weave together, how hope just seems to bloom out of all that pain. Even Casey, she's growing up, wants her mom to be happy. It's like Sparks is saying families aren't always about blood, it's about love
Yeah.
and understanding.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of families, isn't it interesting how those Bradford pear trees come back around?
Yeah.
Jasper taking care of them, watching them bloom every year. It's like a reflection of what we see happening with the characters, all that unexpected growth.
It's a powerful image. It leaves you feeling hopeful, don't you think? Even after a loss, even with all the shadows, there's always a chance for new beginnings, for those unexpected connections to take hold and grow.
That's the beauty of counting miracles,
Mm.
right? It reminds us that even in the darkest places, hope finds a way. So as we wrap up this deep dive, it leaves you thinking, what miracles might be waiting for you if you just open yourself up to the possibility?